Hey everybody, Cindy and Gary here with Pathways Homestead, and it is time to start canning. So we are canning rhubarb jam. And Gary is chunking it up and putting it in the pot for me. We'll add some sugar and boil that down, and then we'll show you what we've got to do next. So we have a friend that we get our rhubarb off of, and he has a big patch of rhubarb in various sizes. All right, so Gary has our rhubarb all cut up for us. We have two pots going. This one back here is just rhubarb and sugar. I have a gentleman that requested last year that I make rhubarb jam, just straight rhubarb jam with no other flavors to it. So I'm going to attempt it this year just for him. I'm sure it's very easy. So it's just rhubarb and sugar. So I've got 3 cups of rhubarb in there and half a cup of sugar. And I'll do a sample taste to make sure it has enough sugar when it's closer to being done. I did add 1/3 cup of water so that it would not stick till it started making its own juice. In here we have Gary's rhubarb that he chopped up for me. There's about 10 cups of rhubarb here. I'm going to add 2 cups of sugar to this, and I'll add something else when it gets down, and we'll let you know what it is. I did add about 1/3 cup of water to this big pot as well. I filled my water bath canner and I have it going here on the stove heating up while this is cooking down. So this first batch of jam, we're just going to cook it down until it is to the consistency that we would like. Our rhubarb has gotten soft. I'm going to hit it with the stick blender. Right, so the next step is adding our secret ingredient is Jell-O. I need to turn that down a little bit. It's getting a little sloppy. My strawberries aren't producing enough to make enough strawberries to make a batch with fresh strawberries. This was just a way I discovered when we lived in Wyoming. And I don't remember who shared it with me, but you know, it started out as a small batch and about 5 cups of rhubarb chopped up, cook it down with a cup of sugar, and with one of the small packages of gelatin, Jell-O. And one year that I tried to make it with strawberries and not with the gelatin, I ended up with syrup. And we had the best pancake syrup ever in the world. That strawberry syrup was so good. The secret is to making sure you get that Jell-O all dissolved in there and even get it heated up a little bit. And that's going to be your pectin, is that gelatin. Alright, so here we go. It is ready. I'm going to start ladling it up. I ended up with 2 jars and a little bit left over. 2 jars of the regular rhubarb with just a little bit left over. And so I just put the little bit left over into this so that just have that much more. Whoops, I got that one a little full. It's okay if you get it a little full. You just take a clean spoon and just dip it out. I like to leave headspace in my stuff. I don't like having it just all crammed in there. I want it to have plenty of room. So I fill it up to this rim that's right here. You do not have to have an immersion blender. You can run this through a food mill or whatever you have, a sieve, mash it with a potato masher, something. I never really messed with rhubarb much until we went to Wyoming, and both homes that we lived in there had rhubarb plants. And oh my goodness, we fell in love with rhubarb in Wyoming. I'm going to dampen a cloth with vinegar and clean the rims off. This will just help to get the sticky off so that you don't, this will help get the sticky off so that you get a good seal. Doesn't matter how careful I try to be, I always seem to get a little bit of particles on the rim. Alright, put my lids on. So I ended up with 10 pints and a half, or 10 half pints and a quarter of a pint. I'm just going to put this in the refrigerator and we'll use it here. So next I'm going to put my rings, put my lids on, I'm going to put my rings on and set them in the basket. And you don't want to get these too tight. And these are warm, so you want to be careful and make sure your hands are protected if you're sensitive. I'm going to gently lower those down into the boiling water. Put our lid on, let it come back to a boil. Once it starts boiling, we're going to water bath can those for 10 minutes. And so 10 minutes, our timer has gone off. One jar tip over a little bit, so I'm going to straighten him up. We're going to let those cool just a bit above this, and they're going to start snapping. You're going to hear them snapping. Alright. Whoa, there goes another one. So I'm going to leave these for a while till the steam goes down, and then I'll lay them out on then I'm going to set them out on this towel. That's a good sign, hearing those snaps. That means I got everything in there good and hot, and they boiled long enough, and everything was processed good. So yep, we're going to have some good sealing, I think. Alright, so the steam has gone down, and it sounded like everybody's sealed. I'm just going to pull them out and set them on this cloth here. Oops. So I'll need to make some labels, get them labeled up tomorrow, and they'll be ready for the farmer's market on Saturday. I'll put the recipe down below. So thank you guys for watching, and I pray you have a blessed day.